Hello, my creative friend. I just want to make a quick little video today to help maybe calm your nerves. I read a story in The Hollywood Reporter yesterday that Tyler Perry is looking at no longer moving forward on his $800 million expansion of his studios in Atlanta, Georgia, largely because he saw what Sora could do and quickly realized that there's probably not going to be the need for the 12 additional sound stages that he has over the past 4 years been planning to build into his studio. If we start to think through what's going to happen and how things are going to change in the film industry because of the introduction of this new technology, it can very easily send us to kind of dystopian and very fearful places. I have seen in comments from some of my videos and some of my advertisements that people are, but what about the crew? And what about business? And what about all the writers who are going to lose all their jobs and all this sort of thing? And so I just want to make a quick little video. As you know, if you've watched any of my content, I am extremely bullish and extremely optimistic about all of the changes that are happening. I come at this from the point of view of trying to help writers specifically for the past 25 years. So I filter a lot of what's happening here through the lens of how this is going to help and affect writers and creative people who use their imaginations to tell stories and get those stories out to audiences who are going to love those stories and connect with those stories and thereby pay the writer or the producer, the filmmaking team to make those stories. When we imagine the future, the problem that we have is that we imagine the future from our current frame of reference. So whenever we think forward about the future, we're necessarily going to imagine it wrong. It is not possible for us to imagine the future accurately because there will be things that happen in the near and distant future that change the trajectory of that future. So I said in my TED Talk a long time ago, we imagine the future as being today, but with faster gadgets. And that's because we don't know what impacts will happen from the effects that happen. So the human brain is designed to save us, to elongate our lives so that we can continue to go forth and multiply and reproduce and build and grow. So as a survival mechanism, our brains have within them a sort of doom switch. We imagine the worst possible case scenario so that we can come up with solutions and alternatives and ways to avoid the danger itself. If we hear a loud boom off to the side, we might immediately imagine something that is going to harm us. It's what our brains are designed to do. It's designed specifically to look for the negative before we look for the positive. Problem is, this can lead us to what I refer to as the catastrophic glitch. Because we can imagine that terrible scenario, our brain starts compounding. Our brain starts going into this doom spiral of negativity about, well, that negative thing is going to lead to that negative thing, which is going to lead to that negative thing, which is going to lead to that negative thing. And because we're sort of predestined to imagine worst case scenario, and because we have an imagination that is by its very nature infinitely expansive, you combine those two together and you have an infinitely expansive negativity cycle, or what I'm calling the catastrophic glitch. It's a glitch in our brain. And so we have to be very, very cautious about thinking about the future through this catastrophic lens. Yes, there will be downsides. Yes, there will be a lot of people that are going to not be able to do the job that they have spent a lot of time and energy developing the skill to be able to do. We need to help those people. We need to be supportive of that. We need to help them find their way moving forward. I believe, and what I'm trying to do here with this channel and kind of with everything that I'm building and the resources that I'm creating and all of that, is to help people see that you are more than your job. You are more than your skill set. You are more than whatever you have spent your time learning and mastering and getting really good at. The reality is that things change. The reality is that our world is shifting. And I'm still working on the video about value, and this is one of the reasons I wanted to make this video, is because I want you to know that I'm still here, and that I'm really working hard to create a video that helps you understand value in the marketplace. But just as a little bit of sort of a preview of it to help you understand the context of this here, the nature of the world as it is makes some things valuable within the context of that world. So as things shift, as things change, it's not that it wipes out the value of those people who were once very valuable in this environment. It's that it changes the nature of what we have to do to now become valuable within the new set of circumstances, within the new context. This is a little bit intangible. That's why I'm working on this video, to try to make it super tangible, give you numbers, map it all out, help you see clearly what this is. The reason I'm bullish moving forward with AI is because what I understand is that if you go outside right now and you just stand in the middle of a quiet street, the birds are still going to chirp. The trees are still going to grow. The sun will come up tomorrow. The world that we live in, the fundamentals of it are still there. They still exist. And as new technology comes on board, all it means is that things change. All it means is that we shift our perspective and focus and what becomes important. If everyone can make a movie simply by coming up with an idea, making that movie, using the new AI tools that come online to make movies, that is going to fundamentally be a paradigm shift for the industry and how the industry has always been done, because that accessibility has not always been there. Those tools have not always been there. I think that's super exciting, because not only does it help writers in their pursuit, the thing that I have been focused on for 25 years, but all the people that have been displaced are intrinsically creative as well. All of the people who are maybe losing something in this transition can see that the value that they brought to that can be transferred to another place. You can take your years of expertise on whatever craft you have developed for the career that you've been working on, a crew member's career or what have you, and apply that to the new situation, the new scenario. I don't have the answer for what that looks like. I mean, there's literally an infinite number of variations to it, and it's going to be unique for every person. But what about your life? What about your experience? What about your skill set and the craft that you have spent time and energy developing? How can that shift and morph and change to become something that you value or that other people would value in the new paradigm? That's what we're going to need to focus on. That's what I'm focused on, trying to carve out a very specific path to show you how to do that, how that actually works. The reason I'm leaning into the writing thing, the reason I get so excited about all this stuff and the new tools that come online, and I'm not worried about the disruption of it at all, is largely because I've been focused on this thing in here, your creativity, the groundswell that comes from it. I fundamentally believe, and I need you to understand, that every single human being on this planet, every single one of us, has a window on our world that is different to every other human being on this planet. It is even just the nuances of what you see. Even if we live together, even if we're siblings and we live together, we move through our lives effectively in the same place at the same time throughout our life, we're going to be different. Our DNA is that slightly little bit different. Just the slight angle differences, just how someone interacts with that person that didn't interact with that person. All of those little nuances give us just fundamentally different vantage points. And that vantage point, if you understand your vantage point, if you understand how to take what you see and what you know and what you're all about, your skills, your weaknesses, your fears, your hopes and ambitions. You take all of that and figure out how to shape that, to package that in a way that is valuable to other people. That's the key. And technology is always going to change. Things are always going to look different. We don't imagine the future 100 years from now looking exactly like it does today. So if we imagine that to look different at some point along the way, it's going to change. It will look different. And so all we really need to do is focus on what those changes are going to look like and how we can adjust and adapt and morph and present what we do in our unique window on the world to that new reality. That's our goal. That's our challenge. It's scary in the moment because we cannot see, we cannot predict what's over the horizon, what's around the corner, what dangers or unexpected changes might be lurking and waiting for us. But if we go into it with the assumption that it's all bad, that it's all negative, that it's all scary, that it's all gonna kill us and wipe us out and be the end of the world, it's just not how forward progress works. It's just not the likely scenario. The likely scenario is that it will be a bumpy ride for a whole lot of people. And I believe together as a community, I sort of smirk because I'm not sure that as a community we think this way just yet. But I think that as a community, we need to come together and help and support each other and guide each other through this difficult time, especially for those who are most displaced by the technology. But to assume that this is going to be all bad and to assume that we can't pivot, to assume that we can't move in a new direction, to assume that it's not going to be possible for us to have a place in that new world it doesn't make any sense. That's the nature of how change and evolution and growth and transformation happens. We are living right now through the most extraordinary time, a once in a generation, maybe a once in a civilization change. This is a big deal what's happening. And if you don't see it, you will. If you don't, if I can't convey it to you, well, just keep your eyes open because it's all things are changing, not just within the film industry, but writ large. Moving forward. And it's extraordinary. I think what's coming, because of the nature of the tools that are coming online, they're going to solve problems that we've had for decades. They're going to solve the toil that we have been forced to do. Now, how does that change our world? How does that change our society and how we interact with one another and what we do each day, right? How does that change it? Well, I don't know. I don't have the answers. No one has the answers. And anyone who says they do is trying to sell you something. We don't have the answers, but what we can do is we can project forward, imagine what that situation is like and what that world looks like, and prepare ourselves for what we think that world looks like. And what I think it looks like is creative. I said it in that TED Talk all those years ago. I believe creativity is going to be the new currency because technology will solve so much of the things that we currently do for money. So if creativity becomes the new currency, I believe now is the time to develop your skills and get really good at being creative, at harnessing your unique window on the world, turning that into something that provides value to somebody else. If you can do that, whether it's movies making or storytelling, whether it's something in business, whether it's something else entirely that I can't think of because I'm in this world, that's what we need to focus on. That's what we need to do. And so to me, the message of this video is please do not let the catastrophic glitch that is innate to us as human beings, please do not let that doom spiral you into a place of fear or paranoia or worry or animosity or rage or despondency or any of this kind of stuff. The future is bright. The future is extraordinary. We only can't see it right now because it's on the other side of the horizon. we're moving towards it, and we have to do the best that we can as we move towards it. Survive the now, and we will be in a fantastic place moving forward. This is what I believe. I know there are worries, and I'm not trying to be Pollyanna about this, and I know there are, dangerous applications of the technologies and all that kind of stuff. But that does not in any way take away all the extraordinary applications of the technology. And if we assume the best in ourselves and in other people, then I believe we will move forward in a very satisfying, very productive way. So my hope is that this is helpful to you, that the catastrophic glitch in your brain can be tempered by this kind of knowledge and shift in perspective and thinking and understanding that technology moves forward. It always has. It always will. It will move forward over the next 100 years, over the next 1,000 years in ways that are so far beyond what we can currently even imagine or comprehend, that those decades or millennia from now just cannot look anything like what we know today. So we shouldn't even, we can imagine it for fun, we can imagine it for sci-fi storytelling, but we shouldn't even bother with that. Let's just focus on the next couple of years, the next couple of decades, and prepare ourselves for it as best we can. And the way, again, we prepare ourselves for it is to figure out how to capture and harness what is unique about ourselves and our unique one-of-a-kind worldview, and how can we package that into something that is valuable for other people within the context of the new changes that are coming online. So I hope you have found this helpful in some way. If you like this, obviously there's a lot more to say about it. There's a lot more to come with these ideas here. I just want to help you out and do the best that I can from the window that I see the world through. So hopefully that's helpful. Subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Comment if you think I'm missing the mark or crazy or whatever. And that's what I got for you today. See you in the next one.